Hi guys, what's up? What's down? What's sideways? James here for Chronic Fatigue Syndrome. My friend, my enemy, my constant companion. Day 83. Um, and I thought this one would be. Uh, Sorry, I can't say this without hearing Iyazu in The Lion King, but no one knows how bad it is. So we all have chronic fatigue syndrome. If you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, or if you've got fibromyalgia syndrome, or any chronic illness, or any challenge, no one knows how bad it is, and it can be, it's another maddening thing where you can't ever explain to someone. So the closest I feel I can get, while still not being able to really sum up how awful it is moving in and out through the various stages of a cold or flu, um, which is the closest way of explaining chronic fatigue syndrome because everyone's had a cold, some people had a flu. There's you can feel it coming on, and then when you're in the peak of it, like your brain's mush, you're not feeling well, your joints ache, you can't move, you're really tired, and then when you come out of it, there's that your body's all a little bit tender, and it's not doing what you'd usually be able to do with it, and rah rah, and so it's kind of a CFS. Um, So I explained that CFS and fibromyalgia syndrome is a bit like that, moving in and out of the various stages of a cold or flu. And like flus used to kill us. Um, uh, and I guess flus like still can, but flus are much worse than colds. So you can have a slight sniffle, or you could be bedridden and on your way out. And that's why I say it's like the various stages of a cold or flu. Uh, But when you have loved ones or friends or friends and family, and you want some sort of you want to share with them how bad it is, so that there's some sort of understanding, and you know um, they understand that sometimes you're just going to be really tired and you can't do things that you'd like to do. It's not a cop out. You're not trying to get out of it. It's just you cannot do it. Um, and and it's nice, that idea of having of them understanding it, because then maybe you're not so alone. um the problem with that is that sometimes we chase that almost as much as we chase a cure. We get really upset that people don't understand what's going on with us. We don't understand what's going on with us, and we want other people to understand what's going on with us, and we want that acceptance. And to my mind, it's really the acceptance, um, that's the bigger thing. We don't understand what's going on. How we're going to get someone else to understand what's going on is anyone's guess. But more of the acceptance that, hey, I'm not a lazy person. If I'm lying down right now, it's because that's what I should be doing. If I'm not doing anything right now, because that's what I should be doing. If I say I can't do a small activity that normally I would be able to, and for you it seems inconsequential, I can't do it right now. And so it's more of that acceptance that, we're not putting it on. We're not, um, yeah, because it's a struggle. Like, we can sometimes have a hard enough time believing that we've got it, and we have it. Like, am I crazy? Do I really have this? And then when you have your friends or family start saying that as well, it just stacks, and it can create a very bad mental environment. Just hugely not good mental environment. So we chase that acceptance. We chase that, hey, I want you to know what this is like. I need some support. I need some understanding, or if not understanding, the acceptance that I have a thing that you can't see, other than I might not be able to make it to that family thing, or I might not be able to go to the movies that day, or I might not be able to physically reply to your Facebook message because I couldn't roll over in bed, or it took me an hour to roll from one side of the bed to the other, and that's happened. And we, as much as we really want it, and I say this because observably you see a lot of people with chronic fatigue syndrome, like, and this comes up a lot, and it's how do I get my family to understand? You can't. It comes up and it's like that chasing the cure thing, you know. I want a cure, I need a cure. What's a cure? Oh, I can't be like this. So a lot of energy gets used there. And then the other one is, you know, I can't get my family to understand. How can I get them to understand? Rah, rah, rah. It's not likely you can get them to understand. Um, you'd be better chasing that acceptance, but at the same time, for them to accept that like there is a thing that you're dealing with. Sorry, gotta change hands. Ah, changing hands. In martial arts, we sometimes have to hold positions for a long time, and yet my body will just not. Sometimes I almost dropped my sword in my last lesson, and that's fine motor skills. And like that's not even a fine motor skill. That's just making a fist. And if I hadn't if I haven't been paying attention, which is part of my training, you know, I may have actually lost the sword. So, yay for CFS. Anyway, the so chasing that ends up becoming its own dark hole as well. You know, chasing the cure is the dark hole. Getting people to try and understand what we're going through is another dark hole. You know, we expend so much energy on it and we can't get anywhere. Either the person you're with is going to, they don't have to understand it, but accept that, you know, occasionally you can't do things. Either they're going to accept it or they're not. And that can be really scary, especially if you're in a partnership or you're a parent or you're a parent of a child who is sick. Because that can be really hard too. Like one parent might like, oh, this child is sick. The other parent might be nothing wrong with them. They're just being lazy. Like, so it's more of the character of the person than anything. But that can be scary and it can be a black hole. But no one's going to know how bad you are. No one can understand how bad you are. I've got chronic fatigue syndrome, and I might not understand how bad you are because there's no gauge. Remember, there's no like little level of this is where they are today. But I understand that you have chronic fatigue syndrome. I understand that that means that there are times where you will or will not be able to do a thing, and I have an acceptance for it. But to ask someone who doesn't have a chronic illness to try and understand, it's too much of an ask. But to ask for an acceptance, like, hey, you know me, you know, why would I want to be like this? Acceptance. Now, if they don't give you their acceptance, that sucks. It's a hard thing. But the tough thing is you will expand your precious energy. You'll spend your precious energy trying to get them to accept, and they may never. But you'll be worse off because you've spent that energy. So it is hard. It's really hard. I don't have any tips or tricks on this one. I've always just I've never made it really a thing that I've chased because it's kind of like that cure thing. Yes, the benefit of this one over the cure thing is like, yes, people may accept it or not. So there's that little one up on the cure. There's no cure. Um, or they haven't found a cure yet. There we go. It might be a bit better. Um, however, however, it's that you have to decide whether trying to push to get someone to accept that you've got chronic fatigue at least is worth your time and energy. And I don't have any. I've always just left it. I've never. I've I've never really had to deal with it overly, um, because people know my character first before they know I've got CFS. So they understand that, okay, I know James's character, therefore I kind of see. At the same time, it's really hard and it's a really big ask. It's a tremendous big ask. So you just have to kind of be prepared to accept what it comes either way, and I always hope that it goes the best for you, but just accept that it might not, and you'll have to do whatever you got to do to move on. So, thank you very much for letting me share Today 83 with you. I get to see my Phoenix again. Yeah, check it out. If you have any questions or you'd like to introduce yourself, comment below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the little notification button, and thank you very much for letting me share today.